This is an Air King 16-inch oscillating table fan. Model number is 9106B. It draws 0.7 amps. 9106B. Not sure about the year. I want to say that this is probably between 2016 2018, somewhere in there. I bought this fan for $10 at one of those like liquidation sale stores. And the only issue with it really is that the tilt is broken. The neck is broken, so the tilt doesn't really work, but it'll stay here. It'll stay right here as long as you don't mess with it too much. And I just finished cleaning, servicing this fan. I've been wanting to get it out and make another video of this for a while, and when I finally got it out, I realized how dirty it was. And then I remembered some things about the fan that made me want to clean it immediately. So here comes the story. When we lived in our last house, it was a house that we were renting from a friend, and with hopes of maybe making an offer to buy it at some point, but it turned out to be kind of a hell house. First, there were the bats. The house had sat empty for a while before we moved in, and it had become infested with bats. So the area where I noticed them the most was in the basement. And at one time I'd just been trying to figure out ways to deter the bats from coming out, I guess, or scare them off. I don't know what I was doing, but I thought fans might be a good way to keep them away. So I kept this fan running with the oscillation on high for days and probably at certain points weeks at a time. This fan saw a lot of run time down there, and I don't know, I know there was once or twice when I went downstairs and there would be one or two bats flying around, and I would just go right back upstairs and shut the door and just not go back down there for a couple of days. But the fan was down there still running with the bats flying around and everything. So I think this fan probably saw a lot of action down there. But on another occasion later, when it came time to move out, it's pretty close to the time that we moved out, something died in the basement. I don't know, I never found it. I don't know if it was a mouse or mice or maybe bats, I don't know, but something had died in the basement, and I couldn't find it. But I turned the fan on because really, I mean, and this says a lot about this fan, this was the only fan that I really trusted to run unattended, on high, on oscillation, and feel comfortable walking away from it and trusting that there wasn't going to be any issues, because I know these to be very good fans that could run for days, weeks, months on end. I've seen it. I've lived it before with the Air King fans. They are reliable, if anything. So I walked away from the basement for probably 5 or 6 days with the Air King fan running down there, and when I went back down there, I'd never really seen this before or after, but the basement had become infested, I guess because of whatever died down there, with flies. I walked down the stairs and immediately the basement was just filled with flies buzzing around. And I mean the terror, I can't, it's indescribable when you walk into something so uh, bizarre and hellish. But I was down there long enough to notice that every few seconds or so I would hear a pop, buzzing around, and then a pop. And I realized what it was the Air King fan was killing flies. Flies would get sucked in, or they would fly into the fan, and the fan was just executing the flies one by one. And there were flies stuck in the grill, the front and back side of the grill. There were flies laying on the base. There were dead flies laying all over around the fan. This thing slaughtered probably a couple hundred flies, I would say. And then I had to go down there with poison spray and traps, hanging glue traps, and everything else I could think of to take care of the flies. It was the weirdest and grossest thing I think I've ever seen throughout my life. And we had to get the hell out of there. Finally, we got out and found a decent house to move into. And anyway, I had almost forgotten the hell that I put this fan through until I got it out to make a video and realized how grimy it was. And yeah, I had to give it a proper wash down. So cleaned it, cleaned the motor, oiled it. It's in good shape. I didn't have the highest opinion of this fan. I mean, I knew it was a good fan and all, but I don't think I had really grown any kind of, I don't know, attachment to this fan yet. But now I feel like this fan's really earned its stripes with me. It's a keeper for sure. When I was cleaning it though, I did notice that the front guard is starting to corrode a bit. So that's not good. I feel like it shouldn't be doing that yet, but anyway, started on high. It's interesting. These fans were basically modeled after the late 90s Lasco oscillating fans. While in the 2017, 2018, whenever this fan was made, the Lasco fans had evolved into something completely different. But the Air King model basically stayed the same. Or I guess the Air King over time has kind of lagged behind the Lasco products as far as design goes. It seems. I think when the Lasco fans were in this stage of what you see right here, I think the Air Kings were still in the push button, all metal grills maybe, I don't know. But the Air King styling, it seems like with these table fans, it's always been a bit behind the Lasco models. It's a pretty strong fan. I definitely have stronger 16-inch fans, but it's strong enough. It's definitely respectable. That's not bad. I think the only other 16-inch fan I can think of that I've tested feet per minute on was that Westinghouse, that vintage Westinghouse Tatung fan that I have in the bedroom right now. I think that was pushing out about 1,300 feet per minute. So this is between 900 and 1,000. That's to be expected, I think. These two. Run the oscillation. So the feet per minute on this, on the low speed, seems to be about as much as a 6-inch fan would be, but you got to remember that the blade is that much larger, so it's the volume of air is that much more also. I was never crazy about the design of this fan, the plain base with the gray rotary switch. I was never really a fan of the style, but it's grown on me, I think, having this fan and using it. Definitely come to appreciate it more. So yeah, I think I have better 16-inch fans than this. Stronger fans for sure. Prettier fans, definitely. But as far as reliability goes, you really can't beat the Air King. You can't. Thanks for watching.